Yeah, we are live. Welcome to the Dirt Life Show. I'm your host, Georgie Hamill. Today we're going to talk about some really, really fun stuff. I'm throwing these intros in because we're using this as the audio for a podcast too. But today we have an awesome show for you guys. Southern California is a hotbed for racing, and the Adams Motorsports Park in Riverside just hosted the first annual side-by-side summer shootout and pit bike race. Shelby Anderson, her dad Rod Anderson, put that bad boy on. It's so cool to see these little events coming out. They had a $5,000 purse presented by West Coast Motorsports. So we're going to have all of them. We're going to talk to everybody about it today. It's going to be rad. We got Myles was the winner. We're going to talk with him. We got birthday boy Cruz Bouchard's going to come on. Bella Bouchard's going to come on. We're going to talk with Brayden Baker. Bo Judge is going to join us. Rod Anderson is going to also join us, Shelby's dad. He was instrumental in setting it all up as well. And Ronnie Anderson. They must have had so much fun this past weekend. So let's get Shelby on, and we'll talk about it, man. It looked like it was so fun. Almost like supermoto sides. So we're at IMG Motorsports, if you can't tell. Thank you to all of our sponsors, KMC Wheels. You can see the badass grenade wheel back here. Motul over here, supplying all the products. Rod and Shelby, what's up?
Living the dream.
How are you guys doing, man?
Good.
Tired.
Did you have a long weekend?
Yeah, it was a long weekend, and then we had to do all the take the track all back apart on Sunday and today. So
yeah, so let's talk about that first. I want to before we even get into it, Rod, how is it to get back behind the wheel against all these young guns?
Oh, it's fun. I mean, I've been doing the master's class. It works a few times, but no, it was fun. I had a great time. I made it further than I thought. I figured I'd be two and done, old guy. But
were you showing them any new tricks or what?
I don't really know that I showed them old tricks that they didn't even remember.
Oh, that's how it works, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, so why don't you and Shelby share the introduction or whatever and tell us a little bit about how the event came up and what it actually is. Because in my head, simply put, it's basically like a supermoto race for side-by-sides because you get to go on pavement, dirt, and battle stage racing or whatever you call it.
Yes, it was
our dog.
Our dog's going flipping out. Rallycross style.
Yeah.
Be more of the way to put it, I would say. And my big concern was being on such a tight track. I didn't want the cars running side by side for the whole race, not to mention trying to build a track that you could pass on. That's a whole nother story, just the logistics of making that happen. So,
yeah, totally. And it was at Adams Motorsports Park up in Riverside, right? And that's usually it's a go-kart track, right, for shifter karts?
Yeah, shifter karts, and they do the supermotos. They do time attack for big cars. They do drift shows. They have, Troy does a really super good job of keeping that place busy. It's hard to get in there and because of all the things they got going on. But our deal was we ran and we had a split track where probably 300 feet off the starting line, the track split. So one car would go to the left and the other car would go to the right. They go do the lap. And when they came back to the start finish line, they weren't close together because of the difference in the tracks. And then they'd crisscross and they'd run the opposite track.
Yep.
And we got towards the end. One of them was my race. My second race was super close. I think it might have even been the closest race of the whole day for the finish. I don't know. But I actually pulled off a win, so I was happy. And so the last quarter mile, I'd call it. Yep. Was
you can keep talking. I'll just let this play while you're giving everybody a rundown.
Yeah, so the last quarter mile where there were some S turns and it was all pavement and it was wide enough to people to pass on and and stuff like that. And I don't know, we had got a lot of good feedback from it. I think we can do it a lot better next time. Like Shelby and I have never done this before. We kind of just went with common sense and what we didn't like at other venues, and kind of made sure we didn't have the same problem where people were upset with us, you know, because of the way we ran the thing. We made it a racer's race.
Yeah.
And
Take a lot of the feedback, criticism, constructive criticism, and all of the ability to make it change during the race, I'm sure. It's pretty cool to hear you guys say that. So a couple things that I noticed just by being a fly on the wall, so to speak, I noticed, first of all, that you guys had support from some pretty amazing companies. West Coast Motorsports was the title sponsor, the primary sponsor,
Yep.
and they put up $5,000 for a purse. The
Yep.
first thing that I thought of when I saw that was, that's bigger than 90% of the races that most of these racers do, which is fantastic because it helps pay those racers for their programs, right? Like in Lucas Oil, Myles Cheek has never won that much money, and he gets to take home that much money and put it back into his program. That's pretty cool for side-by-side racing in general. And then second, you guys have the ability to have all their friends. It's a good grassroots environment. Like that, to me, is one of the most important things, because all of the racers can learn and talk to each other about how they're going to further their programs and become better drivers.
Yeah, sorry, our dogs are just being a nuisance in the back. But that was one thing that we wanted to make sure, is we wanted to make sure that the racers were happy, because at the end of the day, like, that's what is like, the racers are happy, and like, how else are you going to be happy besides having a giant payout? And that was something I would want as a racer, was a huge payout. And we also made it happen thanks to our sponsors, where we had payback to 10th place. So everybody up to 10th place got at least their entry fee back. So,
perfect.
Yeah, important to us to make sure, like, and that's what makes it worth it for anybody to come race. And that's what we know will make the top guys want to come out and race our series, because they know that, like, there's a bunch of money on the line. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, and like, I hate when series just put up a bunch of money just for attraction, right? You're giving enough money to be able to put some money back into the racers' pockets, right? And to help them actually get to the races and do the things that they love. Like, that's the perfect way of going about it, because then, just like Rod, you said, it's a racer's race.
correct. It was almost like a race of champions for the caliber of people we had there, you know.
What's the structure of it then? Like, how do you guys set it all up? Is it bracket style racing, or how does it work?
Yes, it was brackets, and we didn't quite get our 32 cars, but we got 28, and that made so our graph still worked, or our ladder thing, and we went, and so everybody picked a chip. So we had red chips and blue chips, poker chips, and they had 1 through 16 on them. Well, actually 1 through 14 now. And so everybody, right at the beginning, at the end of the drivers meeting, actually, everybody pulled a chip, and they had so you got the red chip, you started on the right, you got the blue chip, you started on the left. Whoever you draw, you draw. And then when we were talking about it, about the elimination thing, we're like, well, what if I draw Ronnie or Art on the very first, you know, and we're the very first race, and then I'm out, you know, or something. That kind of, and we said, well, let's make it double elimination. So we did that, which made it so everybody for sure got to race twice. And when your second one, you get to go 3 times, and so on and so on and so on. So
so Shelby, like, what I'm hearing, like, I was thinking the same thing as your dad, right? So Rod and I are the old guys with all these young guns, right? So I would think the same thing too. I'd be like, oh shoot, like, who am I going to be paired up against? And then now you have double elimination. So, like, you have a chance if one of the young guys messes up, and you can still pass through.
Well, and that was the thing too. Yeah. I mean, if it didn't matter, everybody was really, it was pretty close. And we had the problem about turbo cars and NA cars. So we came up with a deal for that. And we could make that a little bit better next time. But there was no way that we were going to get 32 turbo cars and 32 NA cars, you know, not on our first one. And
the thing was with the track too, is it was a driver's track. It didn't matter how big of a motor or how big of a turbo or any of that. It didn't matter what you had. It mattered how you drove, because we made it so that there wasn't that long of a straightaway to where a turbo would have an advantage over an NA and vice versa. So we made it pretty fair, I felt like, so that if a bone stock RS1 went against a Pro XP, it would still have an even advantage, because you didn't have the power, like you couldn't have time for the turbo to spool up and yank you on a long road straightaway. So
yeah, and I noticed that too. I'm going to look and see if I can find the video, but I thought that I saw Myles Cheek and Chase Carr battling it out, and one was in an RS1 and one was in a Turbo S, I think.
yeah,
No, a Pro XP.
Myles was in the Pro XP and Chase was in the RS1. And
So here's an RS1 battling against Ronnie, it looks like. I don't know which one it is, or this was the test day or something.
that was our video, yeah. That was me against Ronnie, but still, like,
We were testing to see about how much gap we needed to put between the turbo and the RS1 at the beginning.
Got it. It looks
And
like it was
so
pretty cool, and it was pretty fit. That's got to be difficult to go through and do all that stuff. But, I mean, you guys made it look easy.
Yeah. I don't know about it being easy. I mean, we learned a lot. Like, we should have had about 5 more people to help with Shelby and stuff for just logistic parts, like to keep the board going for stage and all that stuff. Shelby put that up on the tower, and just everybody on the radio I think it would have been a lot more efficient and would have went a little smoother. But it wasn't. I'm proud of our first event, and we didn't really get any bad reviews at all.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, like, doing a first event, you really don't know what's going to happen, right? So it's kind of cool that you guys had the ability to have everybody give you guys constructive criticism and stuff like that. But it took a while to set it up. It took a while to get it going. But at the end, you guys made some pretty happy racers.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of enjoyed it. It was something different, was what was important to us, is that there was nothing like what we had done before. Like, it was nothing that anybody had ever done before, from the purse to the type of track that it was. Everything about it was just different, and that was something that we wanted to do. We had gone to Adams a few times to kind of just drive on the asphalt, and we did time attack. And then we were like, my dad was like, dang, we could really like make something out of this with like the dirt and the asphalt. And so everything just kind of started happening between RJ, Ronnie, us, our friend Rob, and Troy. We just kind of made the whole thing happen.
Yeah, that's a lot of smart people all involved in one thing. So let's get to like a little bit more simple understanding of it. So what was like the terrain? Like, how many corners were there? Was there split lanes? Like, give me some of the racers. Like, how are you going to get me to come out to the next event if I want to race?
Well, there's, like I said, I was really worried about cars running side by side for the whole time, and just met breaking cars. Nobody wants to break their car. They all want to drive hard. So the left lane went right straight off the end of the start line and went straight off and went into the dirt. And we had a pretty gnarly whoop section. Like, you could
double in, and some people tripled in, but like, if you didn't, you were going slow over them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool though. So it's super technical on that lane.
Yeah.
And then if your timing was off, it messed up it didn't mess up your car, but it'd throw it sideways. Yeah. It would, it'd buck out. You had to do it perfect.
Yeah. So that would blow your race or your time right away.
Correct. And then, and then they came off, you come off and you go onto the pavement, and it's like a right-hand decreasing radius turn on the pavement, right? But you come right from the dirt on into that. And
basically into a 180.
Yes.
Into an S.
And then you basically had to throw the car in there and get it to be sliding sideways to make it around the corner and be set up for the next one, and do like the full drift thing and come back. And
yeah, just set up one way just to immediately throw it back the other way.
Yep. And then it's wide open down the straightaway to a big sweeper on the pavement you're getting up on the bike when you do it right. You're only on 2 wheels all the way around the corner.
Oh, that's cool. So from a racer's perspective, like, was there a lot of technique and stuff that's involved? Like, because like while they say slower is faster, you drive smooth, or like you're not getting all wild on the course. Like, what could I learn from what you guys are telling me right now if I wanted to race next year? Like, how do I do it better?
Yes, you want to be in the dirt like you race in the dirt. You got to be aggressive on the steering wheel, aggressive on the throttle, and all that stuff. And then as soon as you jump on the pavement, you got to just egg under the brake throttle pedal and 2 fingers on the steering wheel, and the least amount of turning you can do.
Yeah, just be really smooth. All right, so we got our homie Ronnie Anderson on. What's up, dude? Do you agree with what your Uncle Rod's saying?
Yeah, for sure. It was an absolute blast last weekend. It was something that no one had really ever raced on before. We've never really raced UTVs on asphalt and dirt at the same time, and not really head to head either. Usually you're with a lot of cars, so it was cool to kind of do like a qualifying. It felt like pace for 2 laps battling against one other guy.
Yeah, it looks super cool, and like from a racer's perspective, like I don't know how to say it, but like it looked like you had to really focus on what you were doing because otherwise you didn't know because the other driver's not right next to you, right? So you didn't know where the other guy was going to come out when you do like come to get together again. Like how stressful was it, like making sure you had that perfect lap?
Yeah, it was really stressful. You would make one mistake and you'd be instantly like, oh, it's all over. I just blew it. And then when we met up, you knew that you were going to be a car length or 2 behind the guy you're racing against. So it was super important. It was like qualifying basically, where you had to be just 10/10ths the whole time, and hopefully the other guy would make a mistake and you could edge him out at the end.
Who did you battle with in yours, or who did you draw?
I drew right off the gate. I drew Bo Judge, and I ended up losing that battle right off the gate. So I went straight to the losers bracket, and then I got to race 3 more times, I believe, and then I got knocked out, I believe, around the 14th, 16th-ish spot.
All right, so anybody that's listening that has maybe heard the first time or whatever, but like Ronnie's no slouch, man. He races professionally, and he was still like, since it's I don't know what you want to call it, like a new form of racing, since it kind of like Ronnie said, it hasn't been done. Like it's cool because it somewhat evens the playing field, I guess you could say. Like that's so rad.
Yeah, for sure. It was really cool just to and we had just so many fast people out there and just so many different kinds of vehicles. Like I raced basically a virtually stock play car. We had race cars. We had bone stock RS1s. RJ brought out the 2-stroke RS1. So it was cool to just be able to race, a little bit of everything and have everything be very competitive. Like race car versus play car versus 2-stroke RS1, everything was pretty close.
Yeah, we had that 2-stroke RS1. That sounds wicked.
Yeah, it's cool.
Allens, we had Yamahas, Pan Ams, Polarises. We had everything out there, and they were.
That's cool. We had a couple comments come in. The Car One Fabrication team said it was awesome racing. They really liked it. Let's see here. George Lamosis also said so much fun. Pavement and motocross style track. Yeah, see, like that stuff's rad because we don't get to experience that much these days in side-by-side racing.
And that's what was cool too, is even if you were a spectator, when we did something like that, you could see everything. So it wasn't just like 4 racers, like any spectator that came could watch the entire thing go down. You could see the entire track. And so it wasn't like works racing's fun and desert racing is fun, but you see them once every hour or whatever it is, And so to have something that it was a perfect spectator race was also cool.
Yeah. How was it for spectating?
Really good.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the dust, we had a dust issue. We should have started watering about a week before. I think it would have made a big difference. Here at night, drenching it, so we could have got the water way deep in there.
Those are little details that you guys can work out, though, for the next one. All right, so we got the legend that knocked Ronnie Anderson right off. Bo Judge, what's up, dude?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you? I know you're busy, so thanks for joining us and hanging out.
Yeah, no, it was a total cool event. It's I would say the funnest part about it, a good portion of it was just the anticipation of wondering who you're gonna race. Like, so it's like that first whenever Shelby's holding the hat and I reach in there and I draw out a number 1 and I'm like, I didn't want to go first because I wanted to kind of see how the track was how the whole thing worked first. And then I seen him throwing a lot of water down, and it seemed like it was going to be kind of hard to turn on the mud and stuff. So it was like I didn't really want to go first, and it was like, but whatever. I grabbed the number one, and I'm like, well, sweet, I got number one. Then all of a sudden, I hear Ronnie go, I got number one, and I'm just going, dude, right off the bat, like. And then everyone heard about it, so then everyone's like wanting to see that race like right away. So, and then it's hard not to like once you see that I'm going to line up with him, and then it's hard not to go like, okay, if I win this race, who do I get next? So now you're looking down the ladder and you're like trying to pick, well, if I had my choice, I'd want to race this person, but everybody was good. You know, I mean, the competition is like that. That's what I like to go for. You know, it's like when Shelby and Rod asked me, I think we were at Taft about maybe this possibly happened. I was all in at that point, because you just know with the purse like that, it's going to bring drivers like RJ and Ronnie and then even the kids coming up, you know, like Chase Carr and stuff. I mean, one of the best races we've seen was Chase Carr against Corbin Leverton, and it's like it went all the way down to the end. Chase had it. Usually by the time when you meet up, if you're in first at that point, you usually got all the way to the end, and Chase bicycled at the very last turn, and Corbin drove right underneath him for the win, you know. So it's like it was never over till it was over. I was really surprised on how the NA cars were just as fast as the turbo cars. I think the concrete or the asphalt is slippery, where the turbo cars can definitely overpower. I had good grip coming in, but not such coming out. I think I was just a little bit too much gas pedal.
Dude, it sounds so cool though too, because like it's just it evens out the playing field, right? Like that's so rad. So Ronnie, when you go in there and you're getting ready to battle with Bo, like, so what's the move? Like, is there any strategy to like get there at the end of the day?
Yeah, at first, I didn't think I didn't go in with much strategy, because the first 4 or 5 brackets had insanely fast guys. So it was the guys that drew 1 through 5 had a stacked playing field ahead of them. It was me, Bo, Chase Carr, Myles, Cheek, RJ, Corbin. It was just, the list went on. So if you were to win or lose, you were going to keep battling those fast guys the whole time. So I knew we were in for an absolute doozy of a day there. And it seemed like towards the end, it might have been a little bit of a benefit to start on the inside line, I felt like, than the outside. But I think Corbin proved us wrong at the end, and he got me. That's who ended up knocking me out fully. And he started outside and got me. So it was pretty cool.
Dang, dude. Yeah, that sounds rad. Oh, Brian Atkinson says, does Bo have a black eye? Was that Ronnie, you throwing rocks over there? What, dude?
Yeah, I wish I had a good story behind it, but actually leaving the race, I was we were rinsing off the dogs before we put them in the RV, and I happened to just turn around and smack right into one of the pop outs, and kind of got a
gave yourself your own black eye, man.
Yeah, so not a cool story, but that's what happened.
You should tell everybody that Ronnie hit you with like a massive sized buffalo rock on the track or something.
Yeah, thought about it, but no, nothing cool.
So Shelby, it's got to feel pretty good, like you and your dad being able to have all the professional racers come out, obviously show support for all the amateurs and the kids and stuff too. Like the whole event to me seemed like it was a pretty big success.
Yeah, I was stoked on it, especially like we had said for our very first anything. It was cool to see the amount of like people that came, the names that came out, like RJ, Ronnie, Bo, Chase, like, and then it goes Myles, and then it goes down to like these up and coming kids like George and Richards and my dad. That
oh yeah, and my dad too.
Yeah, but it was
because that's a huge name, you know.
Yeah, totally. Big dog on the track. But yeah, it did seem like it was a pretty cool event. What were some of the other fun pieces from a racer's standpoint that you guys had, Bo?
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I was just impressed just with with the way you got Shelby's involvement, Ronnie, RJ, and Rod. Like it's not just like a guy that used to race dirt bikes or whatever is going to start racing, you know, making a racetrack, whatever. So for the first event ever, I personally don't know what you would change to make it better. I mean, it was so fun. I can't wait for the next one. Heard maybe there might be like a little 4-race series or something, and I would definitely want to go race them. You know, it was just so even. I mean, there was a guy, I don't want anyone to think I'm talking crap or anything. I don't know his name, but he was in like it was like a lifted Talon with small tires. I think he went further than I did, because it's just kind of like how you catch the bracket, or if someone just accidentally spun out or something, you could be racing someone really good, and you have to be so perfect and so precise that we're on the edge the entire time, to where if you just happen to throw it in of just a little bit, it's like all of a sudden you just went across some ice or something, it just spins out, and you're one of the best guys that should have won, and you're getting put out by a lifted Talon. So
Dude,
like,
yeah, but that's perfect though, because like I always think about it, like, and there's series that do a really good job at this, and series that do a horrible job at this. But there's a lot of the series that you race, right? It's just a motor race. Like the faster your car goes, you're going to win the race. Like, and now you have the ability to have all this versatility in one track and have it last throughout the day with all your homies. Like, dude, it doesn't get any better than that.
yeah, no, it was a full-on driver's track. There was no, I mean, yeah, you could do better on if you had a good setup or whatever, but I honestly, Shelby asked me a few times if I was bringing my son Brayden, he's been doing pretty good in the NA cars and stuff. And I honestly was like, I'm not gonna, I got to buy tires, entry fee. I just feel like I'm donating some money. But once we got there, it's like I totally wish he would have came, because it's like the kids that he's battling with in the works and stuff like that, they were all up there doing it, and I know he would have been up. I just thought that the turbo cars were going to be the ones winning, but they ended up having an NA car that got third, so it's like it was anybody's race to win or lose.
Dude, how rad would that be, Shelby, if Bo's son just waxed him out there?
And it was like that. I think the Richard is out there, and the brother and sister ended up having a line, and they had to race each other at one time too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
we're gonna have
cool.
to talk with them a little bit about that too.
Yeah, it was cool to see,
Yeah, that was cool. It was random. Richard ended up going against Corbin, and his brother ended up going against each other because they won. Like, it was like brothers and like families going head to head. That was like, it was just at random. It happened to work out that way. So that's why it was cool.
Dude, that is so cool. All right, hey, Ronnie, we're going to let you go because we got to get the Bichards on since we're doing such a quick show. But tell us what your favorite part about the whole deal was.
Yeah, I think my favorite part was just the competition level, like anyone from RS1s, the kids that are coming up through the ranks, to Myles, Cheek, and Bo here that have been racing for years, all had a chance to win that $5,000, So I think it was cool just to see how much the track involved racing and just mistakes in general. Just you can make any mistakes and have fun. And I'm looking forward to see what Hot Rod and Shelby have up their sleeves next, for sure.
Yeah, well, it sounds like maybe they got some cool stuff. Hey, did you tell Myles that he owes you tacos now, or what, dude? Since he got got the big paycheck.
I know, he comes out of retirement and just whoops everyone right out the gate. Sure.
One more thing I need to throw in there before Ronnie gets away is me and Ronnie built that whole track, basically. So Ronnie was our tractor guy. He did the jumps. He got her done out there. So, RJ had a lot to do with us coming up with the plan and all of that stuff. But, I mean, for just going out there, we went around the track one time, and that RJ actually, or our Ronnie, I don't remember, as soon as we built the jumps and the whoops, they made one lap around the track. They go, it's perfect. And I think it's good the whole day, So,
yeah, that's good because you have experts building that stuff that are on the course on all kinds of different courses all the time. So, well, good job, Ronnie, on building that course, man. I hope you guys have some fun plans for the next course. It'll be cool to see.
Yeah, thank you guys, and thanks for having me on.
All right, Ronnie, we'll see you later, bud.
see ya.
All right, so we're going to get the Bichards on here too as well and talk to them a little bit about their stuff. So what was your favorite part about the whole deal, Bo? Was it kind of the same as Ronnie, or did you like something different?
No, I mean, pretty much like it was just fun, It's like to have that level of competition, and it was like we were kind of like, I mean, as soon as I would get done with my run, I'd get out of the car and run to the fence to watch, to see who I might be racing next, because you just didn't know. You could go back 3 or 4 brackets and watch how it's going to slowly kind of get to you. So it was like, and I haven't done that in a long time, like being at a works race or whatever, running to watch or whatever. But it was like literally you're running, and next thing you know, I'm talking to RJ and Ronnie and Cody Bradbury was there, and it was just a good time. Like there was pressure because you want to win. We all, we've been racing a long time and we all want to win, but there wasn't pressure of like a points championship going on if something goes on, or if you're going to get help from Can-Am next year or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was just a one-time event that was fun, and everybody was getting along. Everyone's laughing and having a good time. I mean, you couldn't help to wait for RJ to go out in that two-stroke snowmobile Polaris. You know, you just wanted to see what was going to happen with that thing. You know, it was just like, you just haven't heard a side-by-side with a two-stroke engine in it like that ever. So it was just like
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see the versatility of the vehicles and stuff like that, being able to keep up together on the track. Hey, did you do anything with the pit bikes, Bo?
No. I only ride big bikes. I do not mess around on the pit bikes. It seems like every time you mess around on a pit bike, next thing you know, you got a hurt ankle or something's messed up. So I didn't get on.
Yeah, those things are dangerous. How fun was it though, Shelby, for all the kids and everybody on pit bikes?
It was cool. I thought something to kind of help break up the races, and it kind of like gave the racers a break, and it was just a cool little in between. And that was the thing that was cool too. I'm pretty sure nobody who actually raced the side by side race raced the pit bike race.
They were
so it was two different crowds.
Chris Johnson was and I actually thought like Chase and Cruz and like all these guys would just be on. Bring the pit bike for fun, but everybody was like, no, we're racing. We're not going to get hurt. And so we had a fully different crowd. They were just diehard.
That's super cool, though, because then it makes it bigger for all the event, though, right? How many people were racing the pit bikes? It looked like it was fun.
15,
I think there was like 15. There was about 15 people ended up racing it.
That's a pretty good amount. All right, Bo, I don't know. I know you got a busy schedule because you're getting ready for Vegas to Reno. We can let you go. But are you going to come back and do it if they have another one?
For sure. I'll be in for sure. And thanks again, Shelby and Rod. I mean, I really had a good time, and I appreciate you guys inviting me, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, we appreciate you going. That's what made it a big deal to all of these big names that, you know, we had, I don't know, we probably had 5 or 6 or 8 factory drivers. I mean, not bad for a first shot.
Yeah,
totally. Well, that's cool, man. All right, Bo. Well, thanks very much, dude. I'll see you up there at Vegas to Reno, homie.
All right, sounds good.
Later, bud.
See you later.
So if West Coast Motorsports, Cruz, and Bella are watching, please make sure that you have your Instagram app updated on whatever device you are logging on with, because we'd like to talk with you guys. So if you guys had to just do constructive criticism for yourself, Shelby and Rod, what would be the things that you would like to see different or change to better the race for next time?
More people to help Shelby.
I felt like I was running around. Like, I'm barely getting my voice. Like, I was sick, and I was running around, lost my voice Friday, really didn't have a voice Saturday. And so I was just trying to do too much. Like, I should have asked people for more help. I probably could have gotten more help, but we definitely needed, I think, like 5 more people.
If we had 5 more people, so Shelby, like I said, Shelby should have just been up.
Yeah, it always helps having manpower, right? All right, So West Coast Motorsports is your guys' title sponsor, and Cruz and Bella Burchard are the 2 drivers on that team. What's up, Bella? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, there we go. Hey, so we already got Brian Atkinson saying that you should have just asked, man. He's down to help you guys.
Yeah, he's all over the place too. He's starting his new series. He's already got a series, so.
Hey, man, everybody's down to help, though, Shelby. And
Brian also did help us. He actually let us use his registration platform to have our racers sign up. So,
that makes it easy, huh?
Oh, that made our life way
so
easier.
Easy. And that's the thing, is it helped us look more professional instead of being like, hey, Venmo, Shelby Anderson 5.
That's hilarious. Well, I'm glad that you guys have the ability to have some help, too. And I know Brian's a busy guy, but it's cool that he's able to offer some help, too. All right, Bella, so what was your favorite part of the whole event? And, hey, is Cruz going to come on with us?
Yes, he is. He's actually hitting his hole right now for his birthday.
Oh, okay.
And
you guys are out.
Jess is the face of Motorsports, so she is our title sponsor, so that's why I want them to come on, too.
Oh, that's how it works, huh? Well, Bella, what was your favorite part of the whole event?
I have to say my favorite part was definitely battling out Cruz in that last round that we did. That was really cool, and I really didn't know how we were gonna do, but seeing how close I actually got to him and where he excels that I don't, and where I excel that he doesn't, was really cool to watch.
No, so that means that you already understand where he did better and where you did better. So now you're going to probably try to tighten that gap for next time, huh? I like the racing mentality.
I hope so.
That's pretty good. And obviously you had fun because all your friends were there.
Yeah, no, it was a really big turnout for for a first time event. It was good energy, you know, a really good place. I feel like a lot of people had fun, and you know, it was really cool.
How was it to race on, like, because you're used to racing, like, you know, works races out in the desert. You've done, like, Oak Hill with the Texas Outlaw Series and, like, that kind of stuff. How was it racing this different type of track?
No, it was crazy. Honestly, a first-time experience. I've never raced on asphalt. I'm a desert type of person. You know, it wasn't my thing until I raced that weekend, and I saw how cool it was, and you know, there's a lot more action than there is with other things, but it's really neat.
Well, so I have two questions then. First question is, what tires did you use?
I ran Hoosier tires.
Oh, okay, so like more of a street like tire. And then the second question is how do you change your driving style if you're going to be on pavement and asphalt?
I have to realize
pavement and dirt.
Yeah, I have to realize that I'm more like stuck to the ground, not necessarily, but then like others. So, you know, like that sharp movements will like affect the race and stuff. But I don't know, it was fun.
That's actually a good thing to bring up, Shelby, is like when you have people, and you know, Rod too, you can understand this as well. Like both of you guys have been racing side by sides for a long time, out in the desert, in the dirt, wherever it is. And now you have this different, like little driving style change, right? Where you're really having to be smooth, like you were saying, Rod, on the pavement or on the asphalt. And then how does that transition or translate into when you go back out in the desert? I feel like it would make you a much more concentrated, smooth driver.
Absolutely. In my opinion, yeah. Anytime you can change the way you're the type of driving you're doing, it's nothing but just like James Jaramello. He's a perfect example. He goes out and runs on the pavement, and it just teaches him how to be light on the steering wheel. So like if you're racing a Lucas track and at Blue Grooves and stuff, you know, you have to change your steering input and your braking and all of that stuff. And just being on the pavement is crazy. I mean, we got that started from, I just went and did time attack, slammed my car down on the ground, crossovers off, held it down. It was only 4 inches off the ground with Hoosiers on it. And the thing is insane.
Yeah, that's so cool though. Bella, do you think like driving on that track is going to help you at your, we'll call it normal style racing, like when you go in the desert?
Yeah, I think because that type of driving is more technical, it really helps when I'm in desert because say like, you know, a really tight corner came up, I know how to react to it more because of the experience I had. But it's definitely, it teaches you a lot more things.
So you said that your favorite race was like racing against your brother. That's super cool, like what Shelby was talking about earlier. Who else did you get to race against?
I got to race, so I was actually supposed to race against, I think, Casey, but he didn't end up showing up. So a guy from Seal Savers ended up like volunteering to race because Shelby asked him, and he raced Shelby's car, Mason. And I think Shelby's helmet too. Yeah. So it was.
Dang, dude, Mason has a peanut head if he could fit in Shelby's helmet.
I know, he literally showed up and pulled out the stage my helmet, and I was like, fit in my helmet. Oh,
That's so funny. Hey, Bella, will you put your finger over the microphone on the bottom? Dude, that's so crazy, man. Well, super cool that you let Mason drive that thing.
Yeah, like, well, because we had like the perfect amount. It was even. It's really fun. I had so much going on. I didn't want to add one more thing to my plate. So I was like, man, when Casey told me he couldn't make it, I was like, dang, who am I going to have race? And then Mason was like, I will. I was like, all right, like my car's over there, go see if you fit. And it ended up working out. So it was really
Put me in, coach.
Yeah, it was so cool.
You did really well for just jumping in
He did
cold.
so good.
Yeah, and plus he's just a good dude, right? And was his family out there too in the newborn?
His whole family, the newborn, the thing had to have been like a week old. Like they brought the baby out there, and I was like, oh, dang, like families just die hard. The whole family, his parents, everybody was there. But it ended up being a really cool experience for him. And
Yeah, that's so fun. And Bella, I'm assuming just because I know that you're a big people person, I'm assuming that your favorite part was just hanging out with everybody too, huh?
Yeah, no, it was really cool. Even after the race, he came up to me and he's like, "Good job, you know, I was the one in Shelby's car," and it was like it was a pretty good competition. But I think for the most part, one of my favorite parts about it was that everyone had a smile on their face, and it was really a good time.
Yeah, it seems like it was a good time, man. I feel like I really missed out on it. I was up in Henderson, Nevada, so it was hard for me to get down there. But I definitely want to go to whatever the next one is. Shelby, do you guys have plans to do any events in the future? I kind of heard your dad hinting at it.
I think we definitely do the one race every year. I think a four race series is pushing it for me right now, but maybe, who knows, we'll see. But I think for sure we want to do that. And if we end up being able to plan more, then we plan more. But I think for sure we want to try and do the summer shootout every single year.
Yeah, I was going to say, like a one race deal seems like it's a really good idea because you can put it wherever everybody else doesn't have their races, so everybody can show up, right? And then it also gives a little bit more prestige to it and a little bit more, I think, racer-esque battling because not everybody can practice on the track. Not everybody gets good times. So it's a little bit newer for everybody each year. You know, they have to change their setups and all of these different things come into play. So I really like the idea of having a one-off event like that. It's super cool.
That's what I think our plan was with that, because it's just like once a year you win X amount of money and everybody kind of looks forward to hopefully kind of start scheduling. That's why we were doing it at the end of July, because I was thinking, okay, there's no Texas, there's no desert races, there's nothing usually that weekend. And then of course Red Bull ended up scheduling their Utah thing out there, but it was pretty deep in Utah, so luckily a lot of people didn't go. But yeah, I think that's something I'm going to try to stick to the weekend, like the last weekend in July every year, and hopefully
Yeah, I agree. So, Bella, is your brother around?
Yeah, he's right here.
Let me transfer cards.
He's transferring cards.
Oh, he's trying to get out of coming on. That's what he's trying to do. Cruz is always trying to get out of the media.
Birthday boy.
What's up, Cruz? Happy birthday, homie.
Thank you.
See what I got? Their phones being sucky, Shelby. I think Cruz might get his wish and not be able to come online. I hope that their phone gets better reception in just a little bit here.
Oh, there he is.
So let's talk about like what your guys' perception of it was during the day, Shelby, because you were so busy and your dad was so busy just helping other racers, but they still got to get on track. What were a couple of the milestones or things that you saw during the day that made you happy or made you want to make some positive changes?
I think, honestly, after we did this, I would, what do you think? Cool for me, like, I thought it was fun, but I also wasn't like racing for money or anything. And so I was like, I just went around asking everybody, like, what do you think? What's the track like? Like, how do you feel? And everybody just loved it. And so to like kind of walk around and not hear one negative ounce of feedback from anybody about the track was super important to me, because I'm like, okay, good. Like, everybody's going to have fun, because I know something like that wouldn't typically be somebody's style of racing if they just come from desert or just come from works. And so to kind of walk around to all these different people from different series was really cool to hear. Like, they were stoked on it. Like, they were happy. They were excited to get racing. And now just kind of watching everything kind of plan out, I know ways we can make the races run smoother and quicker. So we know that we're going to make that happen the next time we do it. But
yeah, totally. So Cruz, what was your favorite part about the whole day?
Yeah, it was probably the asphalt part of it because it's more of like a go-kart type of setup, something like that. But it was probably the asphalt and just racing against older and faster people than me.
Yeah, so that part is actually super cool, right? Is that you can race against some of the top dogs, so you can kind of get your feet wet against some of those guys where you normally wouldn't if you're racing like an amateur class or an expert class. So that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
And then
Sure.
so racing, what's the difference? Because we asked the other drivers what the difference was in your driving style when you're out there. Because like I asked your sister, you guys are used to racing desert or on short courses and stuff. What's the difference in the way that you have to drive and the concentration level of inside the car for those types of courses?
Yeah, it's definitely more of a different concept of driving. You want to kind of stay more on your toes than usually you would in desert. You want to kind of stay more cautious and knowing what your next move is just in case this happens or, you know.
Yeah, totally. So when I think about it, like I've done some side-by-side racing or some side-by-side practicing, I guess you could say, on go-kart tracks or asphalt tracks. I've also done some full-on circle track racing in a side-by-side. So like those types of things, like when I think about being behind the steering wheel, like 1 inch, 2 inches, like matters in your line choice. So the focus level and the tunnel vision that you have to have behind the wheel of the car is so much more I don't know, minuscule. You can't really make any mistakes. Is that the way that you felt?
Yeah, I was definitely different because, like, if you ever accidentally got a little tire under the rumble strip or rebels, whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
It spikes you up a little bit, but if you go too wide, you'll get some dirt and maybe slide out. And yeah, you just have to be more cautious with your line choice.
Do you have to adjust the way that you're driving with your feet, with the gas pedal and the brake pedal?
No, I usually stay 2-footed all around.
Oh, okay. So you're good to go. Right on, man. Well, we're gonna get Brayden Baker on and Myles Cheek, the winner of the event, on. So I just want to say happy birthday. I know everybody that's watching the show is gonna say happy birthday to you too. So have fun golfing, dude.
Oh, thank you.
Tell your parents hi, and obviously Shelby and Rod and everybody wants to tell you guys thank you for being the title sponsor too.
Yeah, I will. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
Later, bud. All right, so we'll get Brayden to come on here too, and then we'll have Myles come on. So I have a hard cut in about maybe Myles could actually come on with Brayden because I have a hard cut at 1 because I'm not going to make it to the airport. I go into Sturgis in like an hour.
Oh,
Brayden Baker, what's up, dude? How was the race for you?
It was good. Shelby and Rod put on an awesome event with Troy and all them, and dirt and pavement and good track. Awesome.
So we were just
and hanging.
Yeah, hanging with everybody seems like it would be a really, really fun portion of it. It was cool for you to get a good driver that's so versatile in his driving skills, Shelby, out to the track. But Brayden, we were just talking to Cruz a little bit about the precision driving that you have to have. What did you think about the difference in driving desert compared to when you have to get on a tight course like that with the two different terrains, dirt and asphalt?
It was definitely different. It reminded me of like K1 Speed when we go to K1 Speed all the time with like Mikey and stuff. It was awesome, tight technical. It was just driver lines and how you set up the car is different with tires and sitting low to the ground. And it's more, you have to be on your toes more. And every line you make like counts on time and stuff, like any little error. So it was just trying to be on your toes and make sure every line hit perfectly, and if you make a mistake, it costed you on time and stuff like that.
And you have a couple different cars that you usually race. You have a desert car, you have a short course car. Which car did you bring to this event?
I brought my pro stock, like the car I race at in Works, to the track. So I just set it up a little differently for pavement and a little both mix. So I kind of lowered the car and put different tires on, and it worked pretty good out there.
What car is it?
Podium. He was the RS podium.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brayden, and then we'll let Shelby go.
I brought my Polaris RS1, so it was like a naturally aspirated NA.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So a light, nimble car. And then what were you saying, Shelby?
I said Brayden was the only NA car to podium, so that's why we said, like, when Bo mentioned that there was an NA car on the podium and that it was a pretty even play. Like, Brayden was the only NA car on the podium, but he also, like, was a battle with Sean Saxton for the very end. Like, they were literally banging doors, taking out hay bales at the very end, trying to get like the second place position to go up against Myles. So it was super cool.
Dude, that's crazy, right? And that's like the strategy thing, I guess you could say. Like, so did you have a strategy, Brayden, or were you just winging it?
I don't know. I was just kind of winging it. I mean, I was hoping I would just keep moving on. I was just picking my people off, and I mean, and then we got into some really tight battles with Sean and Myles, and I mean, these guys won multiple championships. They're literally raced way longer than me, and they're awesome drivers. So to even just race against them, it's awesome because these guys are literally probably been doing it for so long. So it was just cool to be out there.
Yeah, dude. And plus, like what everybody's been saying, John Mick says Sean got doored. I'm sure a lot of people got doored. Hey, Myles Cheek, what's up, man? Did you get doored by anybody this weekend?
No, it was actually pretty clean. No bent Nerf bars or nothing. Car's still clean, so can't really complain about that.
Yeah, that's good. And I was just telling Shelby and Rod at the beginning of this, like, you've raced Lucas Oil short course for years, and you've unfortunately never came home with $5,000 extra, right? Unless it was a championship. So kudos to you, buddy, for winning and taking home the payout, dude. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I made more in a day than I did.
Can you say that again, Myles?
I was saying I made more in a day Saturday at Adams track than I did a full season of Lucas, so pretty pumped with that.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Did you and Brayden get to battle at all or no?
Yeah, me and Brayden, we were the finals of the winners bracket.
Oh, so how was that race?
It was close. Honestly, my closest races all day were against Chase and Brayden against 2.
And both of those were RS1s, Brayden? You and Chase?
Yeah.
Dude, how rad is that then? What's going to be your guys' preferred car next year, Brayden? Are you taking the RS1 again?
I mean, the RS1's pretty cool. I mean, maybe set up the car a little different, but I mean, Myles outdrove me in some section, so both the cars, you know, fits, but it's the driver's course, like Shelby and Rod said, so I just got outdrove.
That's actually a good question to bring up then. So let's ask the three racers here. Rod, you go first. If you had to switch anything in either the car, a different car, or change anything on your setup, what would it be?
The driver.
That's your first trade. Are you going to take Shelby's job then? Because it sounds like you would be more stressed out if you were doing that than racing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, that would have been the only. I think my car was set up pretty well. I just wasn't. I don't have the talent the other guys do. I think my car would have been a contender, and for sure if I had put Ronnie or somebody like that in it.
Gotcha. All right. So, Brayden, you kind of just mentioned it. What would you change, I guess, if you're going to do it again next year?
I think probably the same car, but maybe set it up a little different. Tire pressure or much different. There's a bunch of things.
Put the phone a little closer because the microphone's not hearing it all the way. Myles, what would you change?
I can't change much. The car was good all day. It was fine. Tire pressure worked good. Wish I should with the close gravity.
I think you need to get a little closer to the microphone too, Myles. It's a little bit hard to hear you. It sounds like everybody kind of has little tiny details, Rod, that they all want to change to get better, like a true racer, right?
Well, yeah, and the thing is nobody really knew what to expect. They're like, yeah, it kind of looks kind of fun on the video that Shelby did, but nobody really knew. And like a lot of people were going to go, like I told you when we set our car up for just the pavement, where it didn't have, only had 2 inches of shaft, and the car was only 4 inches off the ground. And we told them,
strapped down.
We told them, do not show up with a pavement setup because it's not going to work, because we put jumps and whoops in it to make it so that everybody had a chance at it. You didn't have to do a lot of testing and stuff to make your car handle on the pavement. You wanted it to go through the bumps because it didn't matter where you were faster because it all evened out. Like my car was a little better on the pavement than a lot of them, but there were some that were faster in the whoops, and they came out on top, you know. So that's what helped make it even, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's cool. D Block 1883 says throw another event next year. I think you guys already have plans to do that.
Yeah,
We have to now. Like, we just have to now.
So, what was your guys' favorite part of the track, or was there an actual like a line that you noticed, Brayden, that was like if you nailed the whoops on the lap, you knew you were gonna win? Like, is there anything like that?
There was I think right when the two lanes kind of merge in the back section, if you kind of hit that corner pretty, you can make that next corner like easy without like just to set yourself up better, and you kind of make up a little time right there. That was where I noticed where I could pick up a little time right there. But I mean, or leaving it wide on the jumps, and the whole track had.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Would you agree with that, Myles, or did you have one specific area of the course where you were like, dang, I gotta do it perfect right here?
Pretty much that same section that Brayden was talking about. Right after the sections would come together, like you start bringing a little bit of dirt onto the asphalt, then that was actually a really tight section, and my car is over 80 inches wide, so I'd make sure like either you got to go full pitch into it or really just tiptoe your way through it, or you're just pushing all the way through the corner. So that's a pretty technical part of the track right there.
And so, Shelby, I saw like you had like I think the video that I saw was probably maybe it was Brayden, but I think it was Chase against Myles, and you could see the difference. Like the RS1s it almost looked like they were tiptoeing around the corner, right? And then you see somebody like Myles' car is bigger, like a boat, let's just say, that's like really pushing it, and there was a completely different driving style.
Yeah, that's the thing that we keep saying is it was so important to us to make it a driver's track. Like, didn't matter how big your motor was for the most part. It didn't matter what you did. You had to be a good driver, and you had to hit the marks on the track, and that's what gave you the success that you would have. Because you could have the biggest motor in the world, and it's just like any sort of racing. If you can't control it and you're not a good driver, then you're not going to do well. So that was one thing that was important to us, to make it technical, so that you had to be the best driver to win, and you had to have some sort of technical and racer mentality and ability to be able to win. So that was super important to us, and I think a lot of people honestly did a great job. I think we only had one rollover?
Two
rollover. Wasn't it the same guy?
No, it was a desert car once on the inside, and then CJ Buddy, the motocross guy,
which was a brand new guy, had rolled once in the big super asphalt tournament we were talking about. You got on two wheels, and then a kid who brought his desert RS1, and he adjusted his setup a little bit, but he ended up tipping over because it just wasn't low enough. But and like everybody that came out still did great, like considering the circumstances. Like my dad said, nobody knew what to expect when they went there. And so days before setting up, I was like, make sure, because I had Brayden calling me about some tires or some setup questions, or I remember, but I was like, make sure you do not have an asphalt setup. Like, you have to have suspension. And so I posted a picture of one of the jumps and said, make sure you don't have an asphalt setup, because it's going to be a bummer when you show up and your car is strapped down and you can't.
Yeah, totally. That's crazy though, but it brings a lot of good adversity to it. So we got a bunch of Myles and Brayden fans on here already. Hey, so it looked like Myles, it looked like you honestly just brought your short course car and just whipped it up.
Oh yeah, didn't touch weights in it, didn't touch the suspension, same tires I ran at the last race last year, so just put the thing in the trailer and said, let's go racing.
Nice, and just focused on lunch and having fun with your homies.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we're just going to wind down the show then real quick. I got to go in a couple of minutes here, but Brayden, what was your favorite part of the whole event?
Favorite part was hanging out with all the friends and family, and
it was a little hard to hear you, but yeah, the friends and family vibe, I think that's a really important vibe that anytime you're at the races, right? Yeah, BDI Geyser said Brayden was killing it. And Myles, what about you, man? Did you get any chance to, well, we want to know what your favorite part is, but I have a subsidiary question. Did you get any chance to cook any of your gourmet food for anybody?
No cooking this weekend. Actually had a bit of a stomach flu, so couldn't eat all day. Was a little bit grumpy through the day, honestly. So glad I was able to get through it.
Dude, yeah. So all I heard was no cooking, just winning.
Oh yeah, exactly. But the favorite part of the pretty much it brought me back to like watching X Games as a kid, seeing the two rally cars take off at whatever that soccer field is, and they do it at the Coliseum, jumping down the peristyle. So
at the Home Depot Center.
Home Depot Center, that's it, yeah. But it just kind of brought me back to stuff like that. So never really got that style of racing before, and it was a first for me. And just glad to have people like Rod and Shelby putting on races out here on the West Coast when there's not a whole lot going on right now.
Yeah, totally. Bring it. Just coming right off the couch. Jeff Geyser just jumped on. What's up, Jeff? Your dad, Chuck Cheek, just came on. What's up, guys? Yeah, man, it sounds like it would be super cool. And I actually remember that because I was actually racing a dirt bike at the X Games when I saw that stuff, and I got to see it live. Like, it kind of reminded me of that too, because the technique to get on and off the asphalt is really difficult, difficult. And not just because you can't do it, but to keep speed, right? And then so like all of those things to me look like they were so cool when you guys were doing it. So I'd love to come check it out.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be a blast if you were able to make it out.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to battle against you and Brayden, dude. I'm already gonna be battling for third place. All right, boys. Well, hey, thank you very much for coming on. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you at the races soon.
You got it. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, see ya. All right. Rod and Shelby, we're going to wind this bad boy down. I know that you don't have anything locked in or set in stone right now, but it sounds like the event was really cool, and it sounds like you guys want to do it again. So maybe give us a little bit of a rundown on if you're going to have it again next year. Like Shelby, you kind of said you have a tentative plan because you want to do it in the summertime. Just a little bit more info just in case anybody else wants to hit it up next year.
I would say we're probably going to try and stick to the same weekend if we continue to do it, probably every year.
But make it a night race.
But make it a night race. So it'll be under the lights. Like, I think we have our timing figured out better after doing the first one.
Yeah.
We had a few things just go on in between that extended it a few hours. And so we're going to make sure that doesn't happen again. And so we basically, I think we're going to stick to like that last weekend in July, that last Saturday in July, under the lights, payout, everything's basically the same. We'll change up the track a little bit. It'll be the same asphalt, dirt, probably still at Adams because it's kind of central for a lot of people in like SoCal. But yeah, I think I think we have to do it. Like, everybody had a good time. Yeah. It like, we had decent payouts, and I think everybody was happy and stoked. It was something different. So
yeah, I mean, 5,000 to win, 2,000 for second, 1,000 for third, and then we paid back entry fees all the way to 10th, which ended up we had a three-way tie because we only had 28 cars. We had a three-way tie for 9th, so we paid to 11th. So,
oh man, that's cool that you guys ended up doing that. That makes it a lot more fair for everybody. So the only thing that I want to ask is, will you have an old guys class so Rod and I actually have a chance?
Everybody's been asking me about classes, and I think we have to stick on the class with like 170s or something, which I think we kind of talked about doing. I think we're better off just having the one head-to-head against everybody, and it's just winner takes all, because that's like, for payouts, it makes the day go faster. For the payouts, it makes it bigger. And it just, we make it, I think, fair enough to where, like, you could go up against anybody, and you just gotta have it. You know?
We only had five or six turbos, so I mean, it'd be hard to get the full field. You know what I mean?
Dude, Rod, I'm telling you, all I'm thinking about is just whole shots.
It is too. That was a big part.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for giving us a little bit more info about the event. You guys did a fantastic job, clearly, and everybody enjoyed it. So the best thing about it, though, is I appreciate you guys keeping the grassroots feel of it and making it a really a good understanding that families can enter this, because this is what matters the most for the growth of our sport, is making sure that everybody knows that they can come in and they can have fun and there's a family atmosphere. So I really appreciate that you guys kept that vibe.
Yeah, that was one thing that was important to us because of all the series we've raced over the years. Like, we just wanted to take everything we didn't like from that and make sure we didn't do it ourselves. Because we've had so much frustration with series over the past that we wanted to make sure we made, because the racers and the spectators and all that are the most important part. Like, we just did it because it was fun and it was something we could do together. And so for us to like make the racers and spectators happy, like that's really all we cared about, being racers ourselves.
Yes.
So that was crucial for us. But we have to thank our sponsors too, because we could not have made it happen without our sponsors. And Dad, moving my phone.
Yeah, well, hey, throw a shout out real quick.
Yeah, I have to thank West Coast Motorsports, like you said, was our title sponsor. So thank you guys, the Richards, everybody there. My dad's company, Anderson's New Power, helped us out too a bunch with some cash, some rentals, all that. Rugged Radios was our presenting sponsor, and so they kicked in a bunch of stuff for us also. San Diego Powder Coat, Par 3 Stonescapes helped us. Motul Racing and Vince LaCombra Realty. We actually had a realtor, so if anybody needs a realtor, Vince is your guy. But yeah, it could not have happened without the help of all these people. Like, it was not just us doing it. It was a group event. Our friend Rob, that's been helping us forever, designed the trophies. My uncle at CST.
Ronnie and RJ. Yeah, I don't know because we never brought that up. The trophies were freaking insane.
Oh, cool.
Trophies were sick.
Who did those?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been possible. It was a group effort. So thank you to everybody.
Who did the trophies?
CST Suspension did the laser cutting. OMS and Machine It USA did the bases.
The billet bases.
And then Proline wrapped them for us.
So the first place trophy was 2 feet tall for first place. The one Myles got was a 2 foot tall trophy, and it weighed about 9 pounds.
Holy smokes, man. Yeah, thank you, Brayden. We really appreciate you coming on, too. All right, well, if there's not anything else, I got to get on a plane, man.
Yeah,
all right,
don't miss your flight, but thanks for having us, George.
Thank you.
Love talking
I really
to you.
appreciate you guys doing everything you are for the industry, so thank you both. We'll see you guys at the races.
Yep,
Bye.
sounds good.
Bye. All right, thank you guys very much for hanging out. Pop-up show, middle of the day on a Wednesday, so thank you guys really for hanging out. Really appreciate it. Thanks everybody that joined us. Appreciate all of our sponsors, KMC Wheels, Maxxis Tires, Motul, like Shelby said, all the guys over at Zolander Racing Products, the guys at Shock Therapy, Vision Canopies, and Cryo Heat. So we'll see you guys next time. Peace.